Hey guys, and welcome. Today I'm going to be teaching you a secret tactic that the Wood Elves can implement in their battle lines that almost never gets picked. So I'm a Rubber Duck of War playing under the guise of the Blind Band today. We're up against Shani K of the Lizardmen folk, and this is quite a fun matchup in general. Wood Elves versus Lizardmen is rather even, tends to come down to this big missile fight against each other. Solar Engines up against Glade Guard. We're going to be trying one or two new and different tactics. Likewise is my opponent. So we're going to dive straight into this tactic. My main battle line is deployed on this right hand flank, but down on the left you may notice I have one of the world's most expensive mana batteries, but it has quite a few advantages than most mana batteries do, and this is the tactic we're talking about today. We have a cheeky little spell slinger of life, bring in absolutely zero spells, which may confuse some people, but there is a passive lore buff called the Blessings of the Ancients. Now, you almost never want to take this. It is very, very powerful. It improves your power recharge rate as well as your power reserves. Both of those in a long game are really, really tasty, but there's a big downside. It has to be in a forest, and that's why you almost never pick this, due to many torment rules kind of trying to persuade people away from forests in general, as well as just in, on loads of maps there aren't forests. What's the point in ever bringing the Blessings of the Ancients? Well, if you bring a Spellslinger of Life, you don't need, with no spells, you don't need to get them into combat. They don't need to bounce around the battlefield and get into fights. You simply hide them in the woods, and the entire battle, you shall be getting an improved power recharge rate and power reserves, which is both very, very nice. Now, the cheapest you can bring a Spellslinger is 400 gold, so it is a rather expensive mana battery, but one of the best ones in the game, being able to just constantly give you that nice buff. A lot of these other mana fins are kind of timed items. Don't have to worry about that with the Spellslinger. She is constantly giving you those buffs. For our main force, however, we do have some Dryads mixed in with some Eternal Guard along, forming a nice cheeky little battle line, as well as the Lost Silver Knights, who are currently lurking in the trees just in case my opponent went really bold with Chameleon Stalkers and Skinks deployed right up in my face. We did vanguard these guys into the trees just a little bit, and one of the main reasons we're bringing them today, despite the fact I'm almost guaranteed to be facing some Solar Engines, is we have so much more Winds of Magic. I have indeed brought a Lore of Life Ancient Tree Man, which is going to be pretty tasty. Before we get to him though, we do have a triple Glade Guard as well, with Starfire Shafts in the central pocket, and then come the big boys, the absolute gang. Gang life is well and truly among us. A little bit of lag there when we go through this ability, which is a little bit odd. But we do have an Ancient Tree Man as well as a basic Tree Man. The Ancient Tree Man is going to be coming with Earthblood, Regrowth, as well as Dwellers Below. Normally you wouldn't take Regrowth and Dwellers Below at the same time because they're both very expensive spells, but I'm banking on the fact that Spellslinger is going to be just conduiting so much magic to this Ancient Tree Man. I'll have enough to really bring the pain. We also have the Firebark Elders. You don't get to see terribly often, but one, they look very cool and actually pretty demonic here. Those flaming Firebarks, but they shall be given a pretty juicy flame resistance. Not only do they have 70% of themselves, they also give flame resistance to nearby treemen and, well, nearby units in general, which will be really nice, of course, when I am expecting to be facing against some of those rather nasty Solar Engines. We have one Way Stalker in the front just to apply a bit of pressure, a very cheap but decent lord all round. And let's have a little look at the Lizard folk today. So my opponent has deployed a bit more on the low ground. He's actually in a bit of a retreat here as well, falling back towards the trees, trying to set a trap or two for me. Here's a load of Saurus Warriors and Skink cohorts, some basic, some Javelins, and some regiment-renowned cohort of Sotek, but a nice just front line in general. Load of infantry, load of Saurus, load of Skinks, pretty standard stuff. Apart from that, he does have two Basildons, but only one of them is actually a Solar Engine today. The other one is an Ark of Sotek. I quite like this little mix-up, bringing one of each. You can see an Arrow Kernos is going to be going in, try to bring the pain to that Skink Priest, who's currently hiding behind the tail of the Solar Engine, though he does get clipped and some free damage shall be taken upon him. I like the mix-up, though. Ark of Sotek will cleave out the infantry. Solar Engine should do decent long-range pressure. We have Oxyotor with his lovely magic attacks, going to be very devastating to the Lost Silver Knights and the squishy Elvish characters. More Saurus Warriors, and hidden in the trees we have double Chameleon Skinks as well as double Cold One Spear Riders, one of which is the Hopak cohort, the Regiment of Renown. So without further ado, let's delve into this. It should be a good fun fight. We're pushing through the trees nice and aggressive. I want to, now that my opponent's kind of given up the high ground, I'm not going to give him a chance to get it back. I'm going to drive forward into his deployment zone and then wheel my army around to force my opponent to fight downwards. And the longer the battle goes on here, the happier I am, the more of that Winds of Magic I'm going to be getting back, and it is juicy and juicy. Now, we do have a Way Stalk as well, so you can do some nice poke. I am trying to see how much damage I can sneakily get onto a Solar Engine. It turns out not much whatsoever. We guess we have decent AP being a Way Stalker, but it's nothing too crazy. If we look down here, we actually have 97 armor piercing damage, but we don't seem to be doing like anything at all to the soul engine. So we'll be switching targets as soon as possible onto that pesky little skink priest as he does flee and run away. I believe the skink priest only has a manticore summon today, so I need to take him out early, otherwise my opponent can get some really nice value from him just based off of those double manticores. We also want to move out the front line. Dryads taking the initiative alongside their Eternal Guard, and I really want to get the Glade Guard of Starfire Shafts onto that solar engine as quickly as possible. Then we can kind of play the long game where possible. Now, I did notice Oxyotle's shots shooting into my flank, so I'm starting to push out some Eternal Guard just to try and phase him away from the majority of my army. My opponent is rather wisely going to be retreating back, summoning a Manticore quite early on in the game here, maybe looking to try to jump that Waste Stalker while he is away from the rest of my build, but just falling back, trying to buy time for his skirmishers to get into position and maybe wheel around the solar engine to get in one or two sneaky shots. Now, we have got our eyes, our keen elvish eyes, sighted right now on that skink priest or beast, looking to try and snipe him out as quickly as possible. My opponent is well aware of this though and shall be falling back, and that Manticore's going to get nice and aggressive, probably moving after the Waste Stalker here. Solar engine is also trying to counter shoot, but it is definitely better used on those Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. Our big treemen just waiting in the back. Yes, I have that magic resistance or flame resistance on them from the Firebark Elders, but they already have a fire weakness, so it kind of levels it out, and they can still take big damage, just not as quite as much as before from such units such as the Solar Engine. Now, we are starting to whittle it down with the Glade Guard, moving into position, get a few cheeky shots on the Ferromanticore as well, who's pushing out to this flank, just to deter my Eternal Guard from hunting down the Chameleon Skinks, as well as Oxyotl. Not bad play, but it definitely wants to get engaged as quickly as possible to make use of its summon time. The Glade Guard have been able to drive back the Solar Engine, and it looks like my opponent's had enough of this kind of early tit-and-tat skirmish phase, and he's going to start driving forward nice and aggressively. Chameleon Skinks open and shuts up onto the Glade Guard, which is really nice, and in comes the Manticore, swooping down on the flank of the Eternal Guard, once again fulfilling its job of protecting the Chameleon Skinks on this right-hand side. Though the Lost Silver Knights are starting to bound forward, they do get caught up by the Manticore, going to surround it and try to drag down the beast, and they are really stacked right now, meaning that Bastillon could do some devastating damage, and I'm trying to fall back out of there as quickly as possible. In the main line, we do now push up the Ancient Treeman, the Treeman, as well as the Firebark Elders, and look at this, the flaming ruin left in the Firebark Elders' wake as they charge forward, arrows flinging back and forth from both sides. Treebark Elders should be able to get in here and do some relatively decent damage, but more importantly, help and protect the Treeman and Ancient Treeman. We even have Eternal Guard driving into the heart of the enemy. Nice play by my opponent though. Archosotek's going to float out to this side and deal those Dryads rather comfortably. All of our Glade Guard are a little bit bunched up, and it does look like they are now turning to shoot once more. Going to be aiming at the Poho Pack cohort. I really want to try and take off the enemy mobility before they can be used to shut down my backline. Lost Silver Knights on their own trying to plug this entire right-hand flank, but look at the numbers of enemies. It is not looking good on that side. However, on the left-hand side, Dryads are doing an absolutely upstanding job. Eternal Guard are starting to float in, and in the middle, we have the powerhouse of the double Treemen slapping Saurus and cohort alike. My opponent's doing a really decent job. Poho Pack cohort as well as Colon Spear Riders are charging into the back line, looking to overrun the Glade Guard. We get yet another big hit on the Lost Silver Knights, and every single one of those models which goes down does indeed hurt my soul that little bit more, and the back line is just in an absolute ruckus. We are going to be dropping a juicy Dwellers Below down here, trying to catch the Poho Pack as well as the Skink cohorts, and we're going to do some relatively decent damage. Nothing too crazy, but it was a relatively okay cast. Colon Spear Riders take considerable damage, as do the little Skinkies. However, the Lost Silver Knights may also kind of drag themselves into here, and I do believe this does friendly fire, so I do have to quite quickly counterpunch with a rather good regrowth coming down on them. And I'm not too scared to start chucking out regrowths, so I'm going to have so much magic this game due to that Spell Singer. However, that Soul Engine's doing such nice damage to me, and I'm kind of being forced to use my Lost Silver Knights as backline protectors rather than driving out that Bastillon in the back line. Those shots are really starting to arc in. Luckily, the Poho Pack have been dealt with. Glade Guard are going to be falling back, and we have the Lost Silver Knights who try to plug in at the Skink cohorts, as well as the mighty Treeman. Waste Stalker is unfortunately surrounded and kind of getting his arse whooped upon. We have some Dryads return to the field. The Glade Guard are going to continue to poke down at the Poho Pack where possible. We do lose the left-hand side of the main fight. Lost Silver Knights look far stronger now, though, since they've had their regrowth, and the Chameleon Skinks are about to be shut down, or at least sent packing by the Dryads hopping upon them. Double Treeman trying to beat up the Archosotek. It is a mighty beast, though. 140 armor is certainly no joke, and we're trying to use our ending claws and our mighty vines to really strangle the beast to death, but it's been a big pain in the butt. In the center, the Firebark Elders are holding back 3 units with the support of some Eternal Guard Lovely play by them. And we did fail in our objective to kill that skink priest. Feral Manticore is now alive and kicking. It is the second one. And my Glade Guard can't really say they're alive and kicking, unfortunately. One unit shut down. The other is still trying to leg it as fast as possible. Lost Silver Knights trying to be used to plug in so many enemy units. It is really quite scary. We're going to be coming down with yet another regrowth as they're getting down to about only 1,000 HP. Only 9 models on them, which isn't too good, but a Scroll of Shielding should help support them in this main fight and hopefully tear out a lot of the enemies in the late game. Now, the way Stalker's getting quite bold here, can be charging into hand-to-hand combat Legolas style to try to deal with the skink cohorts and buy time for my Glade Guard to escape and come back into the fray once again. Oxyotl still has a bucket ton of ammunition, which is really scary for me. Down on the low ground, Pohopak cohort have returned. Eternal Guard are in hot pursuit here, and the Lost Silver Knights with that regrowth and Scroll of Shielding are just untouchable right now, bounding to and from different battles, and Earthblood's also going to be coming down once again. We've used up so much magic today, which is really juicy. Lost Silver Knights all the way up now to 1,300 HP. You can see in the distance our little Spellslinger just vibing, floating around, and generally having a good time, giving us that magic. Dryades do need to come back into the main fight. We do have some Glade Guard who have managed to rally it down here in the back line. Lost Silver Knights still have that Scroll of Shielding on them, though they do lose yet another model to that rather pesky Bastillon Soul Engine. I just have nothing that can push through and take it down. We're kind of having to eat these shots right now. Only 2 volleys left, though. We have been able to endure the pain of the mighty War Machine. Lost Silver Knights are driving away Chameleon Skinks, terrifying them, as well as juking another shot, which is good news for them. Firebark Elders are going to be escorting the double Tree Men and the Eternal Guard, hunting uphill towards that Soul Engine. We need to drag down that beast, bring it into the dirt, and start stomping on its skull. Ark of Sotek still has decent ammunition. Another shot does come in, and that means another Lost Silver Knight. In fact, 2 Lost Silver Knights, brothers in fact, go down there, unfortunately, a rather tragic tale. But the Lost Silver Knights are still alive and kicking, and that is absolutely huge, due to the fact they do cause terror in the late game. Now, Oxyotl can really snipe them down quite effectively. Each shot should be killing a model, but they are driving away from him right now, finishing off the cohort of Sotek, who are currently down to 5 HP. And we have a walk-in, just fist made of toughened bark, trying to punch my enemy in my face, moving around as a death blob. Now, there's one or two problems here with going with this tactic right now, and the main one actually is Oxyotl. Oxyotl has a ridiculous amount of ammunition, still 25 shots left. It's going to be quite hard for me to actually reach him without him doing significant damage to the mighty Tree Men. Lost Silver Knights are driving hard after the Saurus Warriors, leaping gloriously into the back. Firebark Elders are nearby to support. I just wanted to slow these guys down with terror out in them, making my opponent commit to a main fight, and buying time for the Treemen and Firebark Elders to actually catch up. Lost Silver Knights have done their job. They can now float out here and start chasing down these routing units, keeping some nice distance between themselves and Oxyotl. We have Eternal Guard just chasing down Skinks, trying to get value. I know if the Eternal Guard come back to the main fight, they're basically instantly going to break. So we might as well use them to chase down routing units. Lost Silver Knights are stampeding, trampling over the Saurus Warriors. Skulls and body parts are getting crushed, much like the... actually, I won't do any Game of Thrones spoilers there. So you'll be able to do a Game of Thrones reference, but I don't want to spoil it just in case you guys have not seen it. But I'm sure you can imagine what reference I was going to make. Antlers are lowered and Skinks are dying in their droves. We do get some Cold One Spear Riders countercharge, but the Lost Silver Knights really aren't messing around today. Up to 133 kills, being such a pivotal unit, and now we're doing them as the ultimate sacrifice. My opponent's main strength is in this unit of 56 Saurus Warriors. They come in, baited in by the Lost Silver Knights, who are going to be going down in a mixture of thorns and roots, but hey, they'll be dragged down to the undergrowth, where they will be reborn once more as the mighty trees. And it's a really nice dwellers below there, catching out the Saurus Warriors, who took considerable damage there, which is really good news for me, and we managed to shatter the skink cohorts at the same time. Now, sneaky snakes are floating around us, but we're trees. We don't really care. We're not scared of snakes. What are they going to do? Bite our bark? I don't think so. Ark of Sotek is in a hot retreat right now as we continue our pursuit. My opponent trying to kite as much as possible to get that value from Oxy, and he's doing some pretty decent damage now onto the Ancient Tree Man, though we do have plenty of healing potential, of course, left. Saurus Warriors do get beaten back by Dryades, so it looks like it may be a bit tit for tat. Both units are really struggling, but the Lost Silver Knights will be coming in here, trying to shatter this unit for good, and then fall back away from the Solar Engine where possible, who is trying to hunt down our mighty Stegos, or Stagos, I should say. Only 3 models left on them, but that's still terror, so I want to keep them alive to the end game, and I'm falling back to the trees to try to protect them, while the rest of my forces do continue this pursuit of the Saurus Warriors, who are currently terrified and running for their life. We have some Eternal Guard coming back, and of course, the good news about that Spellslinger in the distance is she's helping our balance of power considerably, being a full health hero, taking 0 damage and just constantly like, hey, here's some magic, have some more magic, kids, and we're absolutely loving it. Firebug Elders, the Treeman, and Ancient Treeman continue the long march of the Ents after the Saurus Wars. Now, Oxyotle's been a bit of a pain in the butt. He's been a cheeky boy, but he's down to 6 ammunition, and every single shot that he uses up is pushing that balance of power more and more in my favor. Saurus Warriors do consider turning to fight, and they won't really have too much of a chance to retreat here. Lost Silver Knight's going to charge in, pin them in place, and finally allow the mighty trees to get in here and start absolutely slapping Miniasaurus full here in the name of the great plan. I don't know if this was a part of the plan, but it seems like they think so, and the Saurus Warriors have now been dealt with. We still have 2 rather scary Bastildons shooting in, as well as Oxyotl, but down to just 2 ammunition. It's looking a little rough for the Lizardmen. Bastildon is struggling as the Lost Silver Knights continue their hot pursuit, shattering the Bastildon, shattering the Skink Priest, and a roar of victory is ripped from the barky lips of the Treeman Ancient. It shall be a Pyrrhic victory, though. We lost many a good elf and many a good tree, but the day is ours. Well played to my opponent there, Shinikai, and really good job all round with the Dino Boys. Some interesting battle tactics, and Oxyotl, man, you did a good job protecting him. 2,452 damage value, but alas, it was not enough. I think MVPs for me, probably those Lost Silver Knights. They absorbed so much damage. I was able just to constantly spam regrowths, constantly spam Dwellers Below, just because I had so much Winds of Magic due to that glorious spell Singer of Life, with the mighty 000 performing a pretty decent job. Now, is it worth 400 gold? That's the problem here. This is the tactic. I haven't seen too many Widow players do this, honestly, with a spell singer. It's as cheap as you can get it. It's cheaper than a branch wraith. But it is 400 gold, which is very expensive for a mana battery. But I did feel like I had a little bit more utility with my spells, and they're pretty pivotal in us winning the game. Was that worth, though, 400 gold, which we could have spent on an extra troop, chevrons, or items and abilities? I guess that's up for you guys to decide, so definitely let me know down below what you think of hiding a rather cheap-ish, I suppose, spell Singer of Life in the trees just to get that juicy magic and mana. I will delve into the damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in just a second, but if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of the battle. Like a ton of links in the description below to my Twitch, to my Patreon, to my Discord, where you can submit replays, get involved with tournaments and events, or just say hi to a really cool community of people. I think we have over 800 people in there now, so feel free to play against them, learn from them, or defeat them with your mighty big brain battle tactics. So once again, back to the battle. Well played to my opponent once more. He did a really good job, honestly, but alas, it was not enough. The mighty Ancient Treeman took quite a lot of damage towards the end there from Oxyotl, but still got 1,737 damage value, 152 kills, over 11k damage dealt, plus being a huge sponge who can heal himself. It is certainly very lovely. Now, the Spell Singer of Life isn't going to get any value, but of course, it's kind of measured more in the magic she was able to attune and bring back into the powers of the Wood Elves. 659 damage value from the Waystalker isn't shabby, not amazing, but didn't have the best targets today. Ton of Guard, 53, 35, and 7 kills. Damage value in the very low hundreds. They did not have a good day. Similar score for the Dryades. The real standout here being the 434 damage value. So none of my ground troops actually paying for themselves, which is a little bit sad. 44 and 47 kills, though, isn't too shabby. And they did a job pinning the enemy in, holding them back, and allowing my other elements to really bring the pain. Glade Guard weren't protected super well by me, but despite that, we did get off quite a few nice volleys before they went down. 888 damage value, 750 and 400. Not too bad of a return realistically. 16, 39 and 1 kill, but hey, they did some decent damage. Lost Silver Knights, 1,654 damage value. They also broke so many units, tear out so many units, and had that lovely mobile pressure, bounding around the battlefield, pinning my enemy in place, so my slower elements could really shine today. 146 kills is pretty damn nice as well, and that terror in the late game is always good. With the extra regrowths, it's they're a very, very stable unit, even in a matchup where you're going to face, Oxyotl and Solar Engines who do that magic damage. Firebug Elders were basically full health at the end of the game. Still got 98 kills and 875 damage value despite still being so healthy, which is really lovely indeed. And the Treeman, 830 value, but again, was basically full health at the later stages of the battle. As for my opponent, Oxyotl, 2,452 damage value, 37 kills. The majority of that value coming up against my Ancient Treeman in the latter stages of the battle, but also sniping out Lost Silver Knights where possible. Skink Priestley got off both its Manticore summons, so I guess he did his job today. The little skinks unfortunately did not pay for themselves, just shy of 300 value and 201. Sauruslo, such a solid unit, 893 damage value, 328 and 731. 370 on the Cohort of Sotek isn't too shabby, and one skink helps with javelins did not pay for itself, just under 300 value, only 23 kills, but the other one, 800 damage value and 73 kills, doing a really upstanding job. Chameleon Skinks, 480 and 242 damage value is not great. They kind of were fenced off by Eternal Guard and then jumped on by the Lost Silver Knights, which was quite problematic for them. And for the enemy cavalry, 680 and 650 damage value. Good job shutting down my backline, but eventually were brought to heel. 642 damage value from the Arc of Sotek and 1,446 from the Solar Engine. Probably the MVP for my opponent here. Did some really nice damage, focusing down the Lost Silver Knights all day long. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.